This is the drive home with TT for the Millwall drive home. Driving home from Roots Hall, where it finished Southend United 2, Millwall 1 in a pre-season friendly. And for most of that game, it did actually seem like a friendly. The scoreline, I know it's going to sound funny, but the scoreline is completely unimportant and flattered Southend completely. We really shouldn't have lost that game. If there was anything ride on it, I'd have been absolutely gutted, because I felt the whole way through that Southend really did offer very, very little, and probably scored with their only two shots on target. I don't think Sandford had to make a save. So we'll move through the starting lineup, and it was Ryan Sandford in goal. He didn't really have too much to do, so for that reason I can't really say too much. The goals that went past him was a brilliant shot from about 14 yards out, and he's absolutely hammered it past him. And the second one was a near post header from a corner. So there's absolutely, and I really don't remember him making virtually any other saves in the game. So for that reason, I'll give Ryan Sandford a 6. Starting at right back, we had Danny McNamara. I thought Danny had an excellent game. Really looked composed, looked comfortable being in the team. Was excellent. You know, a couple of the balls were absolutely pinged at him. His first touch and control was really, really impressive. Didn't look phased at the back. Nothing really came down his way. Nullified the Southend attack completely. So for that reason, it's hard to give him an 8, because he didn't get pressured that much throughout the game. So I'm going to give him a 7, but it was a very comfortable 7 and a very impressive 7 at that. We'll move on to the left back. The left back was Shane Ferguson. Now, other than the goal that they scored in the second half, they didn't do too much down Ferguson's end. I did think that Fergie got caught out of position for the goal, and they seemed to run in far too easily for my liking, which was a little bit disappointing. Ferguson looks good going forwards. You know, good control of the ball. He did lose possession a couple of times when having the ball, and for that reason, I think I'll give him a 6. We had Murray Wallace and Sean Hutchinson as centre-back pairings. Obviously, there's not too much pace with those two, and they rely upon the wing-backs to cover in behind, but balls played into the box, they absolutely ate them for breakfast. You know, they really did clear anything that came into them. Looked really composed. And this is one thing that I've noticed we really are trying to play out from the back. We really are trying to, from goal kicks, both Wallace and Hutchinson are dropping deeper, making the most of the fact that they can go into the box now. They're receiving the ball and trying to play out. And obviously, we did lose possession a lot in the first half. Our passing was pretty poor, but you can see that they're making an attempt to pass the ball. And for that reason, you can't knock them too much, because it's not something that they've been used to. They're going to have to get used to playing that way, and it still looks sketchy. It still looks we still look a little bit vulnerable doing it. But like I said, defensively wise, they both done what they needed to do. It's difficult to give defenders too much praise when you've conceded 2 cheap goals the way we have. Don't get me wrong, the first one was an excellent finish, but the second one it's just another set piece into the box, into the near post, and I'm not sure who's got beaten. It's right at the other end, and to be fair, the view at Southend is atrocious, but he's beat him and just nodded it in a near post. And for that reason, I'll give them both 6. Although, like I said, it's a little harsh, because they both defended well, but you can't afford to lose two goals in the manner that we did. So I'll give them both 6. Now move on to the right midfield. The right midfield starting was Jed Wallace. Jed done a lot of running, a lot of Jed work. You know, a lot of flicks, tricks that didn't really pay off for him today, and I haven't done really in pre-season. But his effort, his endeavour, you know, he had a couple of shots on goal. I still feel excited when he's playing, and you know, he's getting a lot of stick, but I think it's unjustworthy. He will come unjustified. He will come good as you know. It's pre-season. He's doing what he needs to do. He's making himself available. He's the one part where we scored, you know, he's absolutely running at the defenders to try and make a difference. like I said, it will come good for Jed. But today, again, wasn't really his day. For that reason, I'm going to give Jed Wallace a 6. Sorry, just make sure I get out safely. Left midfield was my man of the match, was Yuri Skalak. Another impressive performance by Yuri. Very exciting to see him play the way that he's been playing. I've been very impressed with what he's been doing. You know, he's looked assured, he's driving with the ball, he's looking a completely different player from last year. He looks fit, he's got intent about him. Mo, like I said, for the difference that from last year is absolutely unbelievable, and it's exciting to watch. His crosses into the box were good. Nearly everything that Yuri Skalak done in the game was a positive, and for that reason, I'll give Yuri Skalak an 8. Then we go to the centre midfield pairing of Ben Thompson and Ryan Leonard. Obviously, Ben likes to, all throughout the first half, in fact, for the first 60 minutes, we looked really good when we were running at players. Any one of the players that run on the ball, all of the 4 midfielders done that. We looked far better than when we were trying to pass it. When we were trying to pass it, we just looked disjointed. We kept making mistakes. That got better in the second half. With the intensity got better and the passing got better. But we still, like, both of them, I felt like they controlled it well. I feel that they did enough. But Thompson always, he's a live wire. He's always someone that, he's tackling. He's hunger for making a difference in a team. It just can't be underestimated what he does, and he managed to do that again, and you just don't get that from Leonard. Although Leonard a couple of times looked composed on the ball, dropped a shoulder, sent the defender for a hot dog, and I think them two potentially will be the starting lineup against Preston, and you can't argue against them. They're both, for me, the best central midfielders that in the club that need to be playing. So I'll give Tomo a 7 and Leonard a lower 7. So I'll give Tomo slightly more of a 7, but I thought they both done well enough. We'll now move on to the strike pairing of Budvarsson and, who was the other one? Tom Bradshaw. Thanks, Zach. Tom Bradshaw and Daddy Budvarsson. But they didn't really get into the game. That was my only problem. They seemed to work a lot. The balls to them, and this must be said, the balls to them were not good enough. There's no other way of putting it. So they were into the channels, but they were just overdone, so that they just couldn't run onto the ball, and that was disappointing. We really didn't do enough to bring them two into the game. And yes, there's an argument that they need to get themselves into the game, and they didn't do that. But also, we didn't get them. We need to do more as a team. You've got 2 strikers up front. You need to be getting them into the game, and we just did not do that. So it's difficult to rate either one of them. Both of them looked hungry for the ball. They didn't really have any chances. Both of the chances that they had were from outside the box, and it was my biggest disappointment. Really, was the fact that we looked a little bit. Our 2 strikers looked isolated from the midfield. For that reason, I'll give both strikers a 6 from the first half. Obviously, the goal that we scored was a complete fluke. It's just the defender kicking it off the back of his own midfielder's head. Somehow it goes in, and it's one of those ones where I'm thinking you don't really want that luck in a pre-season friendly against Southend. You want that luck when we're away at Leeds or away at Stoke or somewhere. But hopefully, we haven't used our luck for the season. I felt like the ref managed the game well. Both teams, like I said, both teams approached it like it was a pre-season friendly. There's no other way of putting it. In the second half, we made a few substitutions. Matt Smith came on, put himself about. He came on for Budvarsson. Again, the strike partnership, they didn't really link up. He still looked more of a threat than the other two. Billy Mitchell came on in the second half, and what I absolutely love about Billy Mitchell is I've said it about Tomo, but he wants the ball. He's sprinting over the pitch to receive the ball from players. Looked really composed on the ball. In my opinion, Billy Mitchell is the 3rd best midfielder, central midfielder. I know we've signed Maroney from Brighton on loan. But Billy Mitchell is the third best midfielder, central midfielder we've got at the club after Thompson and Leonard. I put him above Williams. Now, I know that's contentious. I know Billy might end up going out on loan, and I think that's a mistake. I want to see him in the starting lineup. And today, you know, he had a shot from outside the box, the confidence to do it. He went just over the bar and managed to break a bit of their scoreboard, so that's always a bonus. But he's someone that wants the ball and looks composed on it, and you can't underestimate a young player coming into the side and having that ability and having that desire to want to change the game. So I thought it was a good effort from Billy Mitchell. Tyler Bovey came on and didn't really wasn't able to. He didn't get many touches, and the same for Junior Tienza, who Zach's really happy about seeing. He's become one of his favourite players overnight, because his #rapid is Junior Tienza. Didn't really get into the game too much, but funny enough, done a throw-in straight away. The chances that we created throughout the game weren't enough, but we still, you know, our finishing was poor today. There's no doubt about it. I don't remember the Southend goalkeeper making a save, and you can't do. Actually, I do remember him making one great save from Yuri Skalak that created a corner. Sorry, I'll change that. He did make one excellent save, but we did not put the keeper under enough pressure whatsoever, and you can't continue to do that. Like I said, you can see that we're changing the way we're playing. You can see that we're attempting to play the ball around a little bit more and not give up possession, which is a positive. It's going to take time, and the time to work on it is in a pre-season friendly when it don't matter against Southend. The two, if I look at the two League One teams that we've played so far, ironically we've beaten the better side. Gillingham were a far better side, played far better football than Southend did tonight. I'm not sure whether Southend were up for the game, because they looked a little bit of a step off the pace. It doesn't reflect well on us, the fact that we didn't beat them, but the two teams, if you're going to ask me now who's going to finish above who in the table, by a long way at the moment, it'll be Gillingham finishing above Southend. I'd put Southend maybe 18th, 19th, and Gillingham, you know, I think they can make a push for the playoffs, the way that they played the ball around against us. So it's two good tests playing two League One sides. The best, you know, on Saturday we're coming home to the Den. I'm really looking forward to driving back there. Nothing recreates, I don't care where else we go, nothing recreates sitting in our home stadium against a really good Real Sociedad side. I'm not sure what kind of team they're going to put out, but it'll be interesting to see whether Maroney gets a game, whether Harris has the starting lineup against Sociedad that he expects to play against Preston in our first home game of the season. Was that an exciting game to watch? No, it wasn't. Was it a good run out for the boys? Yes, it was. Will Harris take a lot of positives away from the game? I think he will. I think he will look at that and think, do you know what we've done, what we're working on and building for the rest of the season. Big highlights: Yuri Skalak, Ben Thompson back, and I really like the look of Billy Mitchell. I can't say it enough. Let's see what happens for the rest of the season, and I will see you again on Saturday. Please like the video. You don't know how much it makes a difference to me when I see the likes bowling in. Just a little thumbs up. I appreciate your support for the channel. If you haven't subscribed, over 50% of you haven't subscribed to the channel. What are you doing? Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on Saturday at the Den. Come on, you Lions.